Welcome to this explainer. Now, I want you to picture something in your mind right now, almost like a scene from a cinematic 4K heritage film. Imagine Jacob, the great patriarch. He's standing out there in the sun-drenched, rugged land of Canaan. He's gazing far across the horizon, looking deep into the south, right toward Egypt. But here's the thing. He's not just looking at geography. His vision is unfolding in brilliant, layered, almost impossible depth. On the surface layer, he sees these massive, towering storehouses of green. They're literally glowing with this golden, life-saving light. But as his vision penetrates deeper, overlaid beneath those glowing storehouses, extending way down into the shadows, he sees heavy, dark chains, the crushing burden of exile. It's this breathtaking dual vision, sustenance and sorrow, completely, inextricably intertwined. So that brings us to a huge question. What if a famine wasn't just a random ecological event? We tend to think of history as just stuff happening, bad weather, crop failure, natural disasters. But what if this was actually a programmed trigger within a massive cosmic system? Today, we are completely peeling back the layers of a divine master plan. In Hebrew, this is called a tuknit, and it is encoded deep within the ancient, mystical texts of the Zohar. We're about to move from the surface-level story that we all learned as kids straight into the hidden system architecture of reality itself. Okay, let's start with our foundational text. This sets the entire stage for us. The text says, Vayar Yaakov ki yesh Shever b'Mitzrayim. This translates to, and Jacob saw that there was grain in Egypt. Now, on the surface, this looks like a simple historical fact, right? Just a line describing a massive system migration that was triggered by resource scarcity. They needed food, Egypt had food. End of story. But the Zohar teaches us to look much, much closer at the underlying data of these words. There is a whole universe hidden in this one sentence. And this perfectly illustrates the profound sod, or the deep secret of the Hebrew word shever. On one hand, shever means grain or provision. If we use a modern tech analogy, think of it like a massive cloud-stored system containing absolutely all the resources you need to survive. But on the other hand, the word shever shares the exact same root as the word for breaking or fracture. Keeping with our tech analogy, this is like a hidden firewall, a deliberate system strain. So when the text says Jacob saw the shever, it means he perceives not just the available data, the glowing grain, but the underlying structural stress of an impending, grueling exile. He sees the cloud storage, and he sees the firewall. To really break this down, let's look at it through two different lenses. For any of the younger learners out there or the gamers listening, think of this dynamic exactly like a video game. Egypt looks like a classic resource zone, right? It's that glowing area on the map you go to collect health, food, and supplies. But secretly, the moment you enter this zone, it initiates a massive, challenging new arc. It's a difficult level you literally have to play through and conquer in order to achieve the ultimate level up of redemption. You absolutely have to pass through the fracture to win the game. There are no shortcuts. Now, for the adults watching, think of this as pure cosmic engineering. It's a brilliantly designed system. It all starts with a trigger. In this case, the 7 years of famine. This isn't random, it's a forced mechanism that creates a system migration, driving Jacob's family down into Egypt. But this descent reveals two things simultaneously. It reveals the necessary supply channels to keep them alive, yes, but it also activates the highly embedded risk conditions of systemic exile. The famine is the divine mechanism designed to move the pieces perfectly into place on the board. To truly understand how this builds, we have to look at the underlying exhaustive mechanics of the Sephirot. Why was Jacob able to see this? Well, Jacob embodies the Kabbalistic Sephirah of Tiferet. Tiferet represents truth, harmony, and perfect balance. It is exactly this energetic frequency that grants Jacob his incredible dual-layered vision. Because he operates in perfect, centered balance, he possesses the visionary capacity to see the glowing grain and the dark chains simultaneously. He doesn't just see the physical provision, and he doesn't just see the spiritual danger. He sees the revealed and the concealed layers all at once. But Tiferet is just one piece of the puzzle. The crucial point is how the other pieces of the cosmic system connect. Enter Joseph. Joseph operates as the Sephirah of Yesod. Yesod is the divine channel of provision. Think of it as the foundational source code through which sustenance flows from the infinite upper worlds down into the lower physical system. Joseph's presence in Egypt is the magnetic draw. He operates as the active conduit, the router, if you will, that pulls the entire family down into the structural architecture of this new reality. Without Yesod in place, the system doesn't migrate. And then, of course, we have the destination, Egypt itself. In this cosmic schematic, Egypt represents Malchut in concealed din. Let's unpack that. Malchut is the lowest realm of physical manifestation, and din means strict judgment. So Egypt is an incredibly heavy, highly restrictive realm operating under immense systemic pressure. It's a pressure cooker. It is the exact, necessary crucible where this ultimate cosmic master plan, the breaking down and remaking of an entire nation, must unfold. The system had to be placed under the specific pressure to forge the nation. So Jacob, operating in Tiferet, knows they must enter this crucible. He turns to his sons and tells them, Redu Shama, go down there. It sounds like simple travel advice, right? But the Zohar pulls back the curtain to show us that this isn't just a directional command. The very word Redu acts as a highly encrypted timeline. He is literally speaking the system's code into existence. Let's actually look at the math here, because this is where it gets wild. The gematria, which is the mystical numerical value of the Hebrew letters Rosh, Dalet, and Vav in the word Redu, adds up to exactly 210. Jacob is subconsciously prophetically signaling the precise number of years the Israelites would have to endure the structural strain and hidden judgment of the Egyptian system. The entire timeline of the exile was encoded in the very command to go down. And when we map out the rest of this destiny, the mathematics align with staggering precision. It's like a combination lock clicking into place. We have the prophecy of 400 years, that's the original decree of systemic exile given to Abraham. We have the 12 tribes, representing the structural pillars migrating into the system. And we have the 70 souls, the foundational root code entering Egypt. The 12 and the 70 trigger the conditions for the 400-year cycle, of which exactly 210 are spent in active physical system strain, just as Jacob encoded. The absolute precision of this cosmic plan is just breathtaking. As this immense cosmic destiny unfolds over the centuries, I want you to notice the profound shift in the colors of the narrative. It's a complete visual journey. We start with glowing gold and green. That's the surface-level perception of grain, provision, and immediate survival. But as the system migrates deeper and deeper into Malchut, it plunges into the red and black, the heavy burden of concealed judgment, the chains, the brutal brick and mortar of slavery. Yet, we know this is not the end of the story. The final face ascends to white, the ultimate purification, the exodus, and the blinding, brilliant light of redemption. So what is the core lesson we take away from Jacob's incredible 4K dual vision of Shever? It teaches us a fundamental truth about reality. True vision means perceiving the breaking as the absolute essential prerequisite for the ultimate breakthrough. We all experience fractures, but what looks like a terrifying fracture, a sudden famine, a forced migration, a heavy personal burden, is so often the necessary catalyst for our greatest spiritual evolution. You literally cannot reach the white light of redemption without passing through the breaking of the shell. Which leaves us with this final, powerful thought to consider. What if the fractures in your own life are simply the hidden architecture of a greater redemption? Thank you for joining us for this complete journey through the Pardes. We hope these ancient truths help you and your family improve your own dimensions this week. If you enjoyed this full chapter deep dive, please like, subscribe, and share which part of the journey touched your soul in the comments. We'll see you in the next chapter.